Hey guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the books I read in February. I had a big stack of books I wanted to read this month, and I only got about to half of them. That is because of this book right here, Rabbit and Robot. It was all over the place. It was wild, let me tell you. It took me about a week to read this. It made me feel sluggish. I felt like I was reading a chapter. The chapters are short, but it felt like I was reading a chapter a day. And it was just, it's okay. It's entertaining. It's about these two boys it's about these three boys. Billy and Rowan transport Cager Messer. Cager Messer is the son of this. He's like Elon Musk of the future. He has created all of these spaceships and sent them up into space. And they're called Cruise SS Tennessee, and they're named after states. The world has gone to shit. The United States is in 30 world wars with each country. There's a drug called, what it's called? Woz? Yeah. There's a drug called Woz. It's kind of like a heroin, crack cocaine blend, and it will make you crazy. All the soldiers of the United States are hooked on it, and there's all these robots. And these robots have emotions. They can be horny, they can be happy, they can be sad, or they can be irate, and they'll yell at you and scream at you and try to f you, and it's questionable. Andrew Smith, he's the author of Winger and Standoff, which I'm going to read in March, and I don't know. I give this a 3 out of 5. If y'all are just into crazy crap, then read it. If you're into sexual advances by robots and drugs and it taking place up in space, then read it. And Rabbit and Robot is a TV show for the wise heads that Billy's dad created, I think. No. That's wrong. I don't remember. Like I said, I read this very sluggishly, along with the other books that I read. It was just, it wasn't a slump, but I felt like I was crawling at a snail's pace. Like, okay. Oh, done with the chapter. How many pages? It's short. Another chapter. It's not making no sense. So, I give it a 3 out of 5. First book that me and the girls finished this month was The Beauty and the Beast, and I was bored to tears. It's very different from the movies, and didn't know she had two stepsisters, or two sisters. There was no furniture coming to life. It was all about monkeys and animals, birds, parrots. And the part I was bored the most with was the Queen's story, the Beast's mother. I did not care whatsoever that she was a warrior. It made no sense to the story. Her warrior and her life made no sense in the story whatsoever. Now I know why they cut it out. I didn't like it. I was bored. I think I give it a 2 out of 5. This is Sammy's book. Got it for her birthday. She loves Beauty and the Beast. Sammy, what'd you think?
I think it was kind of gross. Love. What?
You can't see you. Alright, what's your thoughts besides it being gross?
I kind of like the monkeys and the parrots.
Did you like the queens and the fairy stories? Didn't make no sense whatsoever.
No.
And then the queen, saying that the beauty
Isn't royalty.
Isn't worth the beast getting married to, and girl, stop. Okay. But yeah, I think I gave it a 2 out of 5. All my ratings will be down below. The third book I read was The Bells by Danielle Clayton, and it is one of my favorite books of the year. I opened it and I started reading it, and it was just beautiful writing. It was lyrical, it was poetic. It made me really want to go to New Orleans or Orleans and see all the beauty and the glamour. The second book is coming out soon, and I'm going to be doing a blog tour spot for The Everlasting Rose. I think March 15th, March 16th. I think it's 15th. And go follow my blog for that. Bells are the beholder of beauty, and they are blessed by the goddess of beauty, and the god of the sky has turned all of the citizens in this kingdom gray, hair as straw, and the bells are paid or chosen to give the citizens whatever they want and make them beautiful. Purple hair, blue hair, change skin color. So Camilla, we follow Camilla, who I love. She's beautiful, of course. She wants to be chosen as the favorite. The favorite is in the palace, and she gets chosen as second best. Her best friend Amber, the choosing ceremony gets in between them, and Amber is chosen as the favorite. And then 2 weeks later, she gets kicked out, and Camilla becomes the new favorite. And then she understands why Amber was kicked out. There's a lot of conspiracy and blackmail. The capital beauty in the Hunger Games, magnetize that by 10, and this is the bells. I'm starting to read the acknowledgments and the author's notes more now, and I loved Danielle Clayton's author note. It gave a backstory of how she birthed this story and how it came to be, and yeah, it brought so much more joy to the story, and I need to read book 2 right now. I'm hoping it's in my mailbox, but I can't go outside because it's raining. But I give this book a 5 out of 5. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. The next book that we read for school is Thisbe the Stupid and the Black Mountain. Ari got this in her May 2018 Alcrate Junior box. It was Monsters and Mayhem, or Mayhem Monsters, something like that. I don't know. But this book is all about Thisbe. She was left as an orphan, as an infant. She's an orphan. She was left as an infant at the entrance to the cave in Black Mountain. She was found by a troll, and the troll left a note beside the baby saying, "Found this by the stoop. Do not eat, it's mine," or something like that. And then the goblins?
Yes, goblins.
Then goblins found the note and the baby, and they couldn't read the troll's handwriting, so the goblins named the baby Thisbe the Stoop. And so she has become gamekeeper of this cave in Black Mountain. She takes care of all the monsters. And this little thing right here, this little slime ball right here, his name's Mingus. It's easy to remember. Shh. Addie. Shh. Yeah. Don't spoil people. You just did.
But they can't see.
And so she takes care of all the monsters, makes sure they're not killing each other and that they're all in the right place. And see this big ass backpack right here? She's a strong one. So, one day, the prince and princess of this kingdom come to check out the Black Mountain Caves and see if everything's going according to plan. Well, the big head honcho, her boss, Thisby's boss, real quiet. He fucks everything up. I forgot where I was at in explaining this. The monster. The big, big monster. And there's a cat in here called Catface. You want to see my cat face? Say hi, Catface. Say hi, Luna. See? She's got a jingle. And this one brings me to my next book, which is Roseblood. I read this by Roseblood by A.G. Howard. Absolutely loved it. And then, again, another favorite for the year. It's a Phantom of the Opera retelling. It's about this girl named Rune. She gets sent to Paris to this opera school that is housed in the old Paris Opera House that is in the Phantom of the Opera. I'll let you go now. And I'm not getting her all over my face. She gets sent to this opera school because she has the ability to sing opera whenever she hears it. And it's a curse on her. It'll make her sick if she doesn't sing. It's this academy for opera singers, and she doesn't want to go there, but she got chosen because her aunt is one of the teachers or caretakers of this school. Now, this girl has some issues. Her father died, and her father was her biggest fan for singing. Every time he would play his violin, opera music on his violin, she would sing it. Little did they know at the time that the violin had the initials OG. It could have been for Opera Ghost, or it could have been for one of her long-lost relatives of the circus that held the Phantom and showed him like a freak, who hosted one of the freak shows. Now, she meets a guy named, I forgot the name. Thorn. But his real name is Etalon. Oh, so cute. And he is the Phantom's apprentice son that the Phantom saved. I love this book because I connected to it so much. Like I said, when me and my husband first started dating, the first movie we ever watched together was The Phantom of the Opera because it was my favorite. He enjoyed it, and now we watch musicals anytime we get. Second connection I have to this book is that there's a cat in this book called Ghost Kitty, and it has a collar with a bell, and Rune says, "Oh, I can hear the jingle." That's how we describe Luna whenever she runs. We say, "Oh, we hear the jingle," or whenever she scratches and she jingles, "Oh, we found her. Where's the jingle?" The cat jingle. That's how I connected with it. And then the third connection is very hard on me. It also involves my daughter, Adeline. There was a premature birth mentioned, and it was a problem with the lungs not developing. And when Adeline was born, she was born 5 weeks early, and she was in the NICU for almost 2 weeks because her lungs collapsed right after she was born, and she couldn't breathe on her own, and she had to have a chest tube for 2 or 3 days. And then she had jaundice, and she was stuck in the NICU with her cousin, my little niece, who was born 4 days before her, and they were in the NICU together. And so premature births is a topic close to my heart, and it mentioned this in there, and it made me cry. And so having those three connections, that this is my favorite story, my favorite movie, my favorite musical, my It's connected to my cat. It's connected to my kid. Of course, I was going to love it. So, 5 out of 5. Probably the #1 favorite book I've read so far this year, and it's only February. The book I read after Roseblood was Schindler's List by Thomas Keneally. I thought I would cry with this. I didn't. It took me... I started reading this on a Wednesday and I finished it on a Sunday night, I think. It was good. I tried to remember what happened in the movie along with this. I tried to picture, but I couldn't because I've only watched the movie once. And this... It was... I can't really say it, but it's for my classic and my nonfiction for the month. I did have problems reading it. I wish there was a phonetic glossary for the German towns, or the town names and the German words. I knew some of the SS ranks because I do enjoy The Man in the High Castle and Obergruppenführer, and some of the ranks I could pronounce, but other than that, I did not know what they were. But there is a rank list of what those ranks are. Like Obergruppenführer is a lieutenant, a German lieutenant, I think. Yeah, Obergruppenführer is lieutenant general. And the reason I know that word so much is because John Smith in The Man in the High Castle, he's Obergruppenführer. Yeah, I wish there was a phonetic glossary for the German words, and I wish there was a map that had the towns and the cities and the rivers and where the ghettos were located and how everything was situated. I think that would have made this book so much better. But yeah, and the ending, how Oscar Schindler was basically family to all these Jewish people that he saved, and how he went bankrupt twice, and he was given all of these things by the survivors. I thought a couple times that the survivors might have had a little Stockholm Syndrome, because after the first bankruptcy, if he would have saved me, and after his first bankruptcy, I would have, I don't know, I wouldn't have, thank you for saving my life, but I'm not going to keep giving you money because I made you money when I was a prisoner. I got a little feeling of Stockholm Syndrome that these Jewish survivors might have felt, and it's not mentioned that they did, but I would not be surprised if that was one of the reasons why these survivors kept Oscar Schindler in their lives right until he died. I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean or offensive, but Stockholm Syndrome is a thing. People feel it when they're with their captors and with their wardens and with their bosses who are basically prison. I mean, they didn't make any money. They were treated as well as they could have without Oscar Schindler giving himself away, but I mean, what can you do? I don't know. It's a piece of history, but yeah. Has anyone ever brought that up? That these Jews may have felt Stockholm Syndrome towards Oscar Schindler? I don't know. So, but yeah, my rating is going to be down below. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Do you think they might have experienced Stockholm Syndrome? The last book, full book that I read, I'm in the middle of reading one. I'll talk to you about that after this one. The last book I read is Batman Nightwalker by Maria Lu. I actually got to it. I read it in 2 days. It was so good. It's fast paced and it gave me James Bond vibes with all the tech. I know that the tech is old and that it's new, it's worthy, it's Batman related, but I got some James Bond vibes. Batman is my favorite superhero, and he's 18. Bruce Wayne is 18 in this book, and he's just graduating high school, so he's not really Batman yet. This book starts out on his 18th birthday. He's going to this party that is being hosted for him, and he's just came into his trust fund accounts that his parents left him while they were still living and while they died. And he crosses an old friend who asked him to lie to his dad and say, "Oh yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Can you tell my dad that you're giving me an internship and let me into the Wayne Tech building every once in a while?" And Bruce tells him no. So the guy, Richard, he gets pissed, and Bruce leaves his party, and then he he runs into a heavy police enforced area, and the area is being Nightwalkers. There's some gang people in the area, and the police are trying to stop them. And the building that's on fire and that was broken into belongs to another rich tycoon of Gotham City. He was killed, and so Bruce takes his Aston Martin that has all the text that reminds me of James Bond, because the screen and the car maps out the roads and says, "Oh, you need to slow down to make this turn." Very James Bond. He's driving an Aston Martin. James Bond. And so Bruce catches up with him and makes a citizen's arrest. And Bruce gets in trouble, so he gets sentenced to do probation and community service at Arkham Asylum, where he meets one of the leaders of the Nightwalker gang. Before he was Batman, he was Bruce Wayne. So this is before he was Batman, but it talks about the bats that he sees around his house, and Alfred and Lucius, or Lucius, oh, I say Lucius, and Bruce. When I was reading these characters, I could imagine hearing Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Morgan Freeman whenever their characters came up, and it made the book so much better. Especially Michael Caine. I love Michael Caine. He's awesome. And Morgan Freeman. He's God. I gave it a 4 out of 5. The reason it lost its star is because it's short. But I was going to give it a 3 out of 5 until I read the acknowledgments. And Marie Lu made me laugh in her acknowledgments, because she thanked her husband for all the late night Batman watchings and Batman talks and discussions. And then she says, quote, "It's like we love each other or something," unquote. And I died when she said that, because me and my husband tell each other the same thing. It's like we love each other or something. I died. So it got a star back for that. So give it a 4 out of 5. I wish it was longer. Next one I'm going to read is Catwoman. And I'm going to read that after I get through reading my current book, which I'll show y'all right now. The book I'm reading now is Flowers for Algernon by Daniel Keyes. And this was required reading for me back in 6th grade. I read to page... This was part of my summer reading when I was in 6th grade. And I remember stopping on... Well, no, I don't remember stopping on. I found out last night that I stopped on page 42 because I dog-eared the page. And I'm on page 127 now. And I don't know how my teachers thought this was an appropriate book for a 6th grader to read during the summer, and I know why I didn't finish it now, because I was uncomfortable as hell with how Charlie was writing his progress reports. I understand. And also, I don't like the R word. My rating on Goodreads, I gave this a 2 out of 5 when I first started my Goodreads, and I wasn't going to reread this because I didn't want to, because of the use of the R word. And I never used that word in my whole life. About Charlie, he's got an IQ of 70. And he wants to be smart. He wants to be intelligent. And so he passes this test to have this operation to increase his IQ. He meets the mouse, Algernon, who's had the same test, who's part of this experiment, who's become like super mouse. He's super smart. And so Charlie has this operation and he begins becoming intelligent. I forget what his IQ goes to, like 160? Yeah, his IQ skyrockets and he becomes smart. And the people that he wanted to have conversation with, the college kids who talked about art and religion and God and politics, he no longer wants to have conversations with them because he thinks those conversations now are childish, and he wants to talk about atoms and like the nitty-gritty of science. And he's lost his job and he's losing all his friends, and he's regretting, or he's resenting the people who did the operation on him because he thinks that they just see him as an experiment, which he is. And this was written back in the 60s, and you can tell because of the multiple uses of the R word. Nobody says the R word much anymore unless I haven't heard it. I haven't cried yet, but I'm that much through. And yeah, so I'll talk more about this in my March wrap up if I finish it in March. If I finish it tonight, then I'll link my Goodreads page down below and y'all can come follow me. Another book that I read in February that we just finished today was this one, Polar Bear Explorers Club. I thought this was a cute little book. It reminds me kind of like a Snow Queen, Frozen kind of retelling. This girl right here, her name's Stella Starflake Pearl. She wants to be an explorer with her adoptive father, but girls are not allowed in explorers clubs, and there's 4. There's Polar Bear, Ocean Squid, Desert Jackal, and Jungle Tiger, Jungle Cat, something like that. And anyway, she gets permission to go on this expedition to the Iceland, and the 4 junior expeditioners get lost in a way, and they have to find their way back to the ship in a few days' time. But while they're lost and on their own, they go and explore. Finished this today. I enjoyed it. It was a quick read. My kids enjoyed it. And I'm going to be posting a picture on my Instagram. So make sure you're following my Instagram to go see it. It has this book and one of my old stuffed animals that my brother gave me when I was 7, 8 years old, 20 years ago. And I still have it and I love it to pieces. Actually, his ex-girlfriend, his high school girlfriend gave it to me and I still have it. Maybe just to spite him. I don't know. But anyways, I highly recommend this book. And I think there's a sequel out because this author, she has another book out called Explorers Do Something. I don't know. But anyway, recommend. That's it for this long-ass wrap-up. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Remember, come talk to me down in the comments about Schindler's List and any other books that I read. If you've read them, come talk to me about them. If not, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.